We'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity, a podcast for passions. Ben, good to see you back, buddy. We missed you there a couple weeks, but good to have you back. Um, what would you like to accomplish today, sir?
Um, well, I think of some of my issues I like to bring to the podcast.
Yep,
I like to hear what everyone's thoughts are.
yep.
Um, I may or may not have a slight itsy bitsy anger problem.
How so?
Well, I might or might have not tackled my nephew off of a lawnmower. And I definitely could have done that a little bit better, and it still bothers me. So my concerns are that I didn't have much control over it, as much control over it as I wanted to, mentally speaking. I'm not saying I blacked out, but I definitely could have handled that better. Kind of blacked out a little bit. Um, so I'm
So
a
why do
little
you
bit,
think? So why do you think that his mom, wasn't concerned and his grandfather wasn't concerned about it?
because I feel like he needs someone in his life like that.
Okay,
He needs maybe someone who's willing to get physical. And
okay.
so I'm not asking, I feel like it's probably a good scenario for that. But if I was in more control, and I'm concerned if I have kids in the future that I don't want to ever not be in control. So
So
it's been
with
a thing where I'm a little bit. That's one of the reasons where it's like I feel like I need to be able to work on that a little bit more.
Yeah, good. So with seven kids, four girls, three boys. There's twice where I felt what you felt with Daniel.
But
So once is when Ginger Ann was 3 years old. So our oldest daughter, when she was 3 years old, I disciplined her in anger, you know, and there was no harm. There was no, she probably got some swats on the butt or something. And but it it wasn't, but I remember thinking, Mark, you're doing this in anger, and you can't do that, buddy. You can never, ever, ever discipline in anger. So I did great for the next, 14 years, 15 years. I did great. And then Jonathan, when he was 16, I disciplined him in anger. And that was a little different in that I went ahead and said, he's bigger than you, Mark. And he's strong. Like, you do this again next time, he may kick your butt. Like, like, and so again, it was not anything. Um, it was just wrong what I did. And those are the only two times that I've ever done something in anger. There was enough, like, there was nothing wrong. Like, there was nothing um, there. And so it's good that you're aware. And I would I'm not minimizing. You just can never do that. And so, what's your question, I guess?
I think I'd like to figure out the cause possibly, and or learn to it was kind of cool. It was like a little bit of adrenaline, you know.
Right?
So I think it was I think I'd like almost use it maybe. I don't know, maybe get rid of it. I don't know. 'Cause it seemed to be a not too bad a scenario, but I'm concerned that it could happen with my kids, and so I'd like to possibly know what caused it, and be able to control it. I feel like that's where I'm going with it. Yeah.
Yeah, so my guess is what's happening is it's all convoluted. So there's love and concern for him, and you're afraid that he's going to get beat up or killed by somebody.
Okay.
So there's that. That's holy, that's righteous, is good. There's a part of the male testosterone, like you, you're an idiot. Like, and you know what? You need to, if you want to be taken down hard, I'll take you down hard. You don't do that. You just don't do it. So there's a sense of justice that you have. There's probably a sense of realization that he is doing things to his siblings. And so you're not the only one that's experienced that with him. I have experienced that with him too. Patrick has experienced that with him as well. And so, he just irritates. He just irritates. He just irritates. He just does it. He actually enjoys it. It's like sadistic.
Hmm.
And so,
Yeah, I
um,
think that was kind of my thought process, was the fact that like he sees everyone else and it's funny when he does it to everyone else. It's not so funny when you're on the ground and someone's on top of you and your face is on the ground.
right. And so, but he did something with Patrick, and Patrick went ahead and, um, so he noticed Daniel before he knew Daniel. He noticed him, and at the event, and at the last event that we had last year, and he said, "You need to go ahead and stop. You don't. That's a hard football. You can't throw it like that. You're going to hurt one of the little kids." And Daniel looked at him, smiled, and threw it. So Daniel has huge, huge issues with authority,
Right.
especially male authority. And all the men know he's going to get hurt. He's going to mouth off. He's going to irritate the wrong person, and he is going to get the living daylights beat out of him, or worse, he's going to go ahead and he's going to be put in the hospital, or he's going to be killed. I mean,
Right.
every man knows that. You know it. I know it. Like we know, Patrick knows it. Like people know this stuff. It's just, and so Patrick did something because Daniel did something. Patrick says, "I'm doing this to you. You better not. You never do what I'm doing to you to your sisters." And he went over to one of his sisters and did it right in front of Patrick, right in front of his mom and dad. So he's got huge, huge authority issues, massive, just massive, especially with men. Questions?
So with my kids, am I like,
You're likely you'll have those situations, but likely because they're going to be your kids, they're going to learn really quick. Um, don't mess with your dad, and if they're boys, they're going to learn really, really fast. Even faster. Don't mess with your mom. You're going to teach them that, just like I taught you three boys that. All three of you boys hit your mother. All three of you did once. You don't even remember hitting her. I do. And so you hit it when you were two or three. And man, you talk about that never happened. The amount of fear that came down into you. And so all three of you, I remember when Tim, women, girls, they just irritate men like to no end. It's insane. They don't even know it. They just do it. It's wired in them to irritate men and boys. So I told your four sisters, I said, your brother, your youngest brother, he's going to get bigger than you. You got to stop irritating him. And did they listen? They didn't. And I remember Tim, we had a rule. You don't leave the house angry. You just don't. You don't leave the house angry. So we have rules that govern. And I remember him, man, was he mad. He was 16 and and he was in bodybuilding. The guy was built like a tank. And he's like, I don't know which one of his sisters. I could guess, but I won't. But one of his sisters, and he's like, Dad, I know the rule is can't leave. I am mad. I'm like, okay. And he says, I want to punch her. I'm like, you have permission to leave the house angry. So put some distance. So he had the discipline that he had learned from a little boy. He had learned from a little boy about this, that you don't ever harm a woman.
Right.
And so Patrick he was blown away. He was absolutely blown away when right in front of him, he did it to his younger sister. Patrick just like almost lost it. It was unbelievable. So what men will do, like Patrick or Grandpa, it's like, you know, I'm not saying we've given up on him. I'm just saying that, you know, and so what do you do? Probably maybe go out to lunch, with, Dad and Patrick maybe, and go, listen, I need to apologize. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know. Like you get to decide what you do. And so you and Dad and Patrick go out to eat together and explain the situation. It's man to man. The three of you get together and go ahead and say, hey, like, what's up here? Questions?
Like, what's up? Like, what happened, or like, how
Yeah,
can
I
I
don't
help?
know. Well, it's going to happen again,
Right.
likely.
But
It's going to
based,
happen
based off
again.
of based
What's that?
off of everything, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing it happened. But the only concern I had, and this was even before Daniel, is the fact that I have you know, maybe not as much as John did, but I definitely have some sort of anger issues, which doesn't happen at work often, which is weird.
Right.
Uh,
And
but outside of work,
I could not figure it out for years either. I could not figure out, I could not figure out why you three boys have anger issues.
right, and it's probably something to do with our sisters and mom.
Well, no, sisters are sisters. That's just they're just sisters. They're just irritating. So they're
Is it
wired. It's genetically wired in a sister to go ahead and irritate her brother to no end, and he just wants to pound her. It's just crazy. So
is
no,
it
it's not
normal
your
for your
sisters.
is it normal for your wife to just absolutely annoy you to
Oh
no
yeah,
end
no,
sometimes?
yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
totally
it's
okay.
totally normal.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
totally normal. Yeah, no, you don't have to worry about that. That's totally okay. Like, like that's totally okay. Um, and so, but I think, and I couldn't figure it out because I'm like, why do my boys have such anger issues? Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
hmm.
But I think I know why.
Why? Why?
Rosanna, do you have any ideas?
Because I deal with anger issues.
So I didn't get it though. I didn't understand it. So she said, she deals with anger issues. And so I'm like, neither one of us have anger issues. Like we just don't. I mean, yes, I can get angry, but it's controlled.
Right.
Like when I was flying down to, I think it was Atlanta, every month to do TV broadcasts, and Ruth, the owner of the TV station, I remember a number of things about that. One is your mother giving me natural ingredients that gave me kidney stones for the first time. So I remember that. I remember Ruth saying, "You got to go to makeup." And I'm like, "I'm not doing makeup." Yeah, no. And she's like, "You're on my TV radio, my TV station. You're doing makeup." I'm like, "I'm not." She's like, "Well, then you're not going on." I'm like, "Grr." So she leveraged it. And then I got on and I saw myself on TV and I'm like, man, dude, man, you look good. So I remember that. I also remember the thing I remember the most about it is is after, I don't know, a few months and many TV episodes. So I'd go down there once a month and shoot 10 to 20 TV episodes at one time. And and after, I don't know, a bunch of episodes, she said, "Hey, can you and I go for a walk?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And we go for a walk. She says, "I have two questions for you." I said, "Okay." She said, "My first question is, how come you have stories for all of your kids except Katrina?" Now, me, I'm like, first, I'm like stunned. How does she remember all of that? Like, she was amazing. Like, she tracked, and they weren't all at the same throughout episodes. And so I said, that's a great question. I'm not entirely sure. I've had the hardest time connecting with her of the four girls. Um, she's a middle child, but that changed everything with my connection with Katrina. Like I'm like, and so, um, and then, and she said, and I said, and your second question. So it helped me a lot. I appreciate it. I'm forever grateful for her that she observed that, saw that, and helped me to identify that. The the other, and she said, well, my second question is, what happens when you get out of control? So I was probably, I don't know, in my mid 30s. So it's probably 25 years ago, I'm guessing. I don't know, something like that, long time ago. And she said, what happens when you get out of control? And I looked at her and I said, I'm not saying I've never been out of control. I'm just saying I'm not ever aware that I don't, can't remember any time that I've been out of control. I said, but if I was, it would not be pretty. It would be really, really bad. So it's kind of like the Incredible Hulk. So it's another reason why I don't drink. So that there's many reasons why I don't drink alcohol. That's one of the reasons because uh, I think that could go ahead. That increases the probability that I could be out of control, and that would not be good. And so, and so, so I didn't look at, Rosanna, my wife, your mother, I didn't look at her as being an angry person. Although once I did come home kind of between appointments and she was homeschooling the kids. And I came home and holy cow, I walked in and nobody heard me. And you kids were upstairs in the loft area. And I came in and man, was she let loose on you kids. And I'm like, whoa, whoa. And everything clicked for me. I got it. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's, I knew something was going on. So what happened is I assessed, I said, so what's happening is she's underreacting to the kids.
Hmm.
So she doesn't respond fast enough to the kids. So she underreacts. It's like driving and you kind of go to sleep and you go off to the left and you realize you're heading in the wrong direction. So you overcorrect and you end up in the ditch in the right hand side. So she was underreacting and then she overreacted. And then what was happening is because I could feel when I came home at nights at work, I'm like, something's not right here. Like there's stuff going on at home that I'm not aware of. Like it's weird. It's very strange. So I could feel something was off, but I didn't know what it was. And and so then I figured it out. I said, so what she's doing is the kids are not obeying her. She's not being obeyed, and they will push her, and then she's gonna, so she's underreacting, then she overreacts and she yells or screams or does whatever she's gonna do with the kids. And then she says, you know, the 6 words or whatever it is, they get the kids. She said, I'm gonna tell your father when when he gets home. The kids then what happens? The kids then go ahead and freak out and they're like, "Oh crap, we are in so much trouble. So what will we do about this?" So what the kids did is the kids went ahead and learned what they do is they make their mom more angry.
Nah.
So what the kids do is they make their kids are sneaky little buggers. Like, and then they grow up and they become adults and they're even sneakier. Like, holy cow. And so then what they did is they would make her more angry. And then she'd get more angry and more, and she'd yell at him more and do whatever she did. And then she would feel guilty that she was wrong. And so there was this pact between the kids and Rosanna that they had where I won't tell on you if you won't tell on me. So what they did is they wiped their mom out. They 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 made her not be a mom, they turned her into a sister. So they had one parent, a single parent, a single dad. And it's like, sheepers. Like, and so I saw all of that in an instant. I'm like, I get it. Now I know what's going on. I come home and there's this weird energy from the kids and from Rosanna. It's like, what happened? Nothing, nothing, nothing. Like nobody, and I can't deal with it. Like the adult in the room can't deal because I don't know what's going on. And I didn't find out the core of that reason, for another 10 years beyond that. So, questions, Ben?
No, sir. Any
So,
questions I should be asking?
well, do you think you're going to follow through on my recommendation to go out with Dad and go out with Patrick? And so the three of you do go out to eat, go out and hang out. Do you think you're going to follow that suggestion?
I think I'm trying to follow through with more of the things you say in my own way, which is weird, but it's a
Right.
strategy. It's
Right.
a
And
new
when you do it in your own way, and let's just hypothetically say you do it in your own way, okay, and it doesn't work. So what are you going to think?
that I should have done it in Dad's way.
No, that's not what you're going to think. You're going to think,
That's what I'm trying to train myself to think.
right, that's what you should be thinking. Right. That's the smart thing. Like, I did what Dad asked. No, you didn't do what Dad asked me to do. You tried to do it wonky and invite him over and then talk about it, and talk to him about it. Did you include Patrick in on it? And
Right.
so, does it have to be going out to eat? I don't know. That's what came to mind, you know, so I don't know, but Patrick has to be there. If
Right.
Patrick isn't there, Patrick will bring wisdom and strength and understanding experience to the table that neither you or dad have.
So, yeah, yeah,
Not your dad, your nephew's dad. And so the key is the key is he's got similar type of patterns that your mother has. And so I think as a man, it's even worse. It's even more so. It's magnified, amplified even more. And it's interesting because there's a number of young men that I'm seeing this in, and it's got some really funky stuff on it. So this is, passion for success, passion for being Ben. You know, when Jonathan died, Ben went ahead and just naturally wanted to slide in and be the the responsible oldest brother. It's just natural. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just natural,
feeling it.
So he's trying to do that. And that's cool. His father loves that he's trying to step up. Um, so if you're listening to the rebroadcast of this, you have any questions, connect with the individual who invited you to participate. There are so many people out there with anger issues. It's insane. I mean, it is insane. And you don't even know it. Like I was married for probably 25, 30 years, and I did not know my wife had anger issues. It's just crazy. I mean, it's just like, how could I not see that? How could I not know that? And so, anyways, but she's working on healing, and this is why it's so powerful because if she can learn to tell her story, learn to see her story, see what happened, see how it happened, heal from those things, and she is healing. The last 6 months, last year, she's a different woman. She is a different woman. It's really cool. It's a shame, that it took 38, 39 years of our marriage, but like I could see stuff, but I didn't know how to fix it, which is interesting because Alvin and Mel and Ernie yesterday, that's what the conversation is about. You see what's going on, you see the future, and but there's nothing you can do about it. It's just weird. Anyways, you have any questions, connect with the individual who invited you to participate in today's session, or you can call toll free 888-230-2300 outside the US 630-393-9909. And always remember, we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Bye bye.
Um,